वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today. And greetings to all those seen, unseen, and those who are seen but remain unseen. Thank you for joining us. So here we are entering, um, as we move on to autumn. Autumn has a different energy. Autumn is an energy where leaves fall off. And I think this is indicative of where we're about to now move into in kind of an energetic space, but also in terms of exactly what's going on. So, for those people who consider, who are quite easily manipulated and have been manipulated, are going to discover and perhaps find it the hardest to cope with, the hardest to deal with um, the impact of now. And when we discover that perhaps ask yourself the question: Does this seem that this is to do honestly to do with the virus? What's going on around the world? Do you really think this is to do with the virus? Just try and step back and see it for what it is. What's going on behind the scenes? What seems to be going on in this kind of cyber information war between parts of the East and parts of and within the West itself? And if we step back, we can see that it is inconsistent. It is inconsistent with a whole range of parameters that you can measure a pandemic by, a virus, a threat, a bacteria, bioweapon. No one appears to be talking about immunity. Everyone is talking about how to put masks on, how to do this. But, the flame content right from the word go has been right. Okay, if the threat is a virus, then your immunity is your best defense and your first line of defense. Everything else is um, uh, after that, sequential. So we've now noticed that it's not just the inconsistency in the messaging, the inconsistency in the data. And I would even like to question one other thing. Now, doctors that have spoken otherwise, that have brought about information that does not follow the mind control narrative, that you're all going to die quick, panic, panic, panic. Anyone who's speaking that is counter to that narrative, for example, individuals who are making, in fact, professionals are making different assertions about the so-called virus, and they are excluded. They are taken off media. They're taken off social media. They are banned from places like YouTube, etc. Why? Why? Which bit is the fake news? Which bit is the fake news? Because if it was fake, you don't need to take it off. You don't need to take it off because people with critical thinking can go through it. So that's the first issue that I think needs raising. The second one is this, that if we decide, if the media had not told you that there was such a threat, would you have been in the state you're in now? Would the economy be in the state it's in now? Would people be so petrified that you get individuals, communities, families that can't even see any facial communication because they got masks on? Ask yourself the question, is this really to do with a virus? Anyway, no matter what you answer, the next few months, September, October, November, December, I feel are intense enough to expose a lot of things. which will then become very difficult to accept, very difficult to accept. What if it was found that this wasn't the case? What if it was found that there was a more darker reason why individuals who were certified COVID dead or were not allowed to be touched by other people or autopsies performed? Why? Why? I'll leave that question because I don't feel people are necessarily ready to hear the answer. But I'll leave that question. Why? And when individuals find out that maybe there are other rather darker understandings behind it. So as we've been saying, summer months onwards, we are going into stage from protests to riots. The difference between a protest and a riot is a riot tends to break things, tends to be violent. Although protests have turned out to be violent at times, but you can have non-violent protests, but you can't have a non-violent riot. Riot implies that it's violent. So as people discover, we will discover that yes, people are genuinely angry at what's been happened. Just imagine if the whole world was looked upon, humanity was looked upon as individual entities that can produce resources for a third party. What am I saying? That you were like a cow or a sheep or a goat or a chicken or a pig that's owned by someone that is then looked after in a particular way in order for you to do something, in order for you to be productive to the one who owns you. What if there was a system in which governments and corporates began to discover that there was a profit in your population, that you can sell your population to others? What if there was such a understanding? How would humanity deal with it? Well, we began our series of talks back in the day about sovereignty. Well, your health now should be pretty solid. Now it's about speaking the truth, saying no where we need to say no, and standing up for that truth. Because if you don't do that now, you will look back at yourself and recognize that just like those people who just followed orders, were unable to think about them for themselves, may end up with regrets. So now is the time to look at what's happening. Do not accept what your media is bombarding you with, the mainstream stuff. It's genuinely nothing more than inducing panic. And this brings me to the third oath, meaning that do no harm. Then how come the scientific advisors to the government subgroup did work on identifying on how to increase the threat in people through dramatic headlines, through you will be infected and you will infect your family, save the NHS, save the family, save your community, to increase the level of threat and anxiety so they comply with the government's guidelines. Now, does that not break the Hippocratic Oath? Because by doing that, you are doing me harm. You are reducing my immunity by inducing fear. And I feel that this breaks the very fundamental oath of what it means to be a doctor, what it means to be a healer. Do no harm. To put fear in another without providing them proper adequacy and simply in order to manipulate behavior. Remember those words, manipulate behavior. Irrespective of what it does to you, your immunity, your social life, your work life, etc., as we're starting to find out. So perhaps in a year or two or five, when there is some enlightenment in this world, there's people able to think for themselves, maybe these individuals should be held to account. Like anyone else, that is increasing the level of threat in individuals, in humanity, breaking society down, breaking communities down, breaking economies down. Someone has to pay the price. And we have to, as rational beings. Of course, if you've been brainwashed and you're in that mind control stuff, then you will do exactly what you are told. Bend down, you won't get COVID. Put a mask on, you won't get COVID. Next, put some goggles on, you won't get COVID. Oh, by the way, put a chip on, you won't get COVID. Oh, by the way, now you can't work in any other place apart from those which have been approved as COVID safe. Ask yourself the question. Humanity has survived for hundreds of thousands of years. And we are saying now that we need to do all of this just to get on with life? Oh man, wake up, wake up, wake up. But as we say, as we are waking up, and awakening is never easy. When you're deep sleep and someone wakes you up, they say someone who's woken up from deep sleep is even prepared to kill the one they love. And you wake up feeling distressed, feeling annoyed, feeling, why am I being woken up? Well, the time has come for that bubble to be popped, and it will be popped. And as it's being popped, the awakening experience can be difficult, can be challenging. And we are seeing the effects that we identified 2 months ago, that this constant stress on individual will lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. And more individuals are now contacting the center, and individuals who are engaged in this kind of therapeutic work having real difficulties in terms of eating, in terms of suicidal thoughts. And because everything else is so, because the COVID threat thing is so intense, every other mishap in life becomes an enormous problem. So individuals run towards a kind of a self-isolation, self-criticism, depression, self-low esteem, low confidence, and then obviously over time, suicidal thoughts, self-harm, etc. And we've had a number of people like that. So it's important now to realize that, look, this meditation stuff that we have been sharing with everyone deliberately and conscientiously is to ensure that you reduce the risks of not just the post-traumatic stress disorder, which many people are still under the stress, and the disorder will become more manifest as we go along. A whole new range of mental health issues and a whole new range of depression, let alone people who are losing their jobs, unable to pay the mortgages. Then there are parents who are freaking out about sending their children to school, because there is so much mixed messages. When we are confused, we go into an internal trance. Yeah. When we are confused, we go into a trance, we go within. So remember that this confusion is, the whole thing has been designed, as you will find out soon enough. I think many people have already understood and are waking up and are brave enough to say it now, and without being ridiculed. So as one great Indian leader once said, they begin by ridiculing you, conspiracy theorists, blah, 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 blah. Then they start fighting you, and then you win. And that's the process. They ridicule these kind of understanding statements which were challenging the narrative. Now it's become violent. It's become this aggressive debate. It's become, people get very worked up about having masks on, or face diapers as they call it in other places. But to me, it's symbolic. It's symbolic about keeping your mouth shut. Shut up and obey the law. To me, it's symbolic. To me, I understand from my background in chemistry, in microbiology, in the sciences, and in other traditions of how to build the body and how the body works, to say the body is strong enough to fight these viruses. So, because this particular pandemic, let's call it that, um, has started to have cracks in it, don't be surprised of a new wave of panic. Remember that the agenda is panic. That's all it is. The agenda is to create panic. As long as you're panicking, you will not be able to see the wood for the trees. And if we recognize panic is an internal state, you can recognize it. It's a fear state. It's a state that's to do with your uh, threat to your life or your family. Step back. Meditation is the way to step back, become present. And in doing so, you also remind yourself through your experience that you are part of something much bigger, that you are, in fact, just the wave on the ocean. That's what the ocean is existence. You, me, and everything else, including the bad guys and the good guys and the phantom virus, are all part of these vibrations on this ocean, or waves, or vibrations upon the waves. So it is simply the whole energetic space. So how do we know that to be the case? Is because when we step back from all that is changing, we get back into our awareness, which remains unchanging. So today we will try and look at our experience and see if we can acknowledge this area, this inner space of unchanging presence, unchanging presence. And it's this unchanging presence through which creativity comes through which you will find your dignity, your integrity, and most importantly, through which the strength of that which is restores balance and harmony will come through. So enough of my rant. Let's begin with our meditation. And so as usual, just shake your shoulders, make sure you're a bit loose. Okay. Gently close your eyes, gently close your mouth. And begin to focus your awareness towards yourself. And you can guide yourself within yourself with a breath. So as you take a breath in, you can become present to yourself. Now take a moment or two to notice the body as best as you can, the whole of your body. Notice if your mouth, your face is relaxed or tense. Pull your shoulders back. Notice that your back is straight and upright. And your head simply sits on your spine. Imagine someone pulling you upwards from your hair. So you're upright but not rigid. And as you breathe in, again noticing your body, notice what sensations are dominant, where they are. Where they are. Maybe a tightness, maybe a discomfort. Just notice any sensations within your body. Everything happens within you. All experience takes place. When you close your eyes, you begin to experience your inner space. You are the experiencer. You are not the experience. Now, bring your focus to the floor or chair you're sitting on. And next, we're going to position ourselves, space. So notice the sensations where you notice that. As you breathe in, bring this focus upwards. So now you have awareness of your hips, your waist, your pelvis. On your next breath out, allow this awareness to just gently drift your thigh towards your thighs. Upon reaching your knees, on your next breath out, move it down towards your ankles. From your ankles, move it down to your feet. Becoming aware of your soles as best as you can, the soles of your feet. Come back to your seat. Again, notice how you are held in place. Wherever you are perfectly and completely embedded in that space. In other words, your body can't be anywhere else. You can only breathe the air that's around you. You can only experience the climate that you're in. And you can only be on the ground where you are. From your seat, move your focus up towards your lower back. And a little bit further up towards your middle back. Up towards your shoulder blades. Notice your shoulders are not hunched. Notice if they feel relaxed or tense. Move your focus down from your shoulders to your elbows. From your elbows to your wrists. From your wrists to the palms of your hands. And then coming to the fingers on your hands. Bring your focus to your eyes. Notice the darkness. Again, recognize that the awareness is not changing. The awareness is aware of the darkness. Allow your eyes to relax and soften. Move your focus to your tongue. Notice the sensations in your mouth, around your lips, face to relax. Allow your jaw to relax. Now, as you breathe in again, bringing your focus to your body, noticing any sensations, just the location. Now, bring your focus to your chest. How do you feel within yourself? Is this moment enough? On your next breath out, begin to listen to the sounds around you. Some sounds may be near you, some sounds may be further away. Follow the sound of this bell as far as you can. Listening. Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose. Begin to observe your breath. Notice that the breath breathes by itself. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Allow the in-breath to come through. Turn around, out-breath to flow out. Just beneath your nose. Stay with your breath. The breath holds you in place. It allows your focus to be anchored. Now let's get a little bit more familiar with the breath. Notice that the breath comes in. There's an in-breath. There's a little gap before the out-breath begins. And there's a little gap before the in-breath begins again. See if you can notice the four parts of your breath. In-breath coming in, little gap. Out-breath going out, little gap. Follow it all the way to the end. See if you can notice the gap at the end of your out-breath before the in-breath begins. Allowing every out-breath to move you deeper and deeper into the present moment. Stay with your breath, following your breath all the way till the end. See how your breath feels now. Does it feel fast or does it feel slow? Does your breath feel long or does it feel short? Does your breath feel warm or does it feel cold? Stay with your breath. Does your breath have a sound? Try and listen to the in breath as it comes in. Try and listen to your out breath as it goes out. Listening to your in breath as it comes in, listening to your out breath as it goes out. On your next breath out, open your awareness and once again begin to listen to the sounds around you. We're going to use the sound of the bell to move into the deepest silence that we can, simply by following it. Simply by following it. Notice the silence if you can at the end of the bell. And once again. Listening. Simply listening. Notice the silence. This silence is the ocean of silence. The ocean of infinite possibilities. This silence connects you to the silence of the ocean, the source itself, nirguna, formless. Silence has no form. Notice your experience as best as you can. Notice the unchanging awareness. The unchanging awareness, aware of the changing experiences all around you. Yet you are still and silent, ageless, beyond birth, beyond death, self-creating, moment by moment. Gently bring your focus back to yourself, focusing on your breath. Notice how you're breathing. Notice how the breath feels. Light or dark, light or heavy, smooth or erratic. On your next breath out, expand your awareness, becoming aware of your whole body as best as you can. Notice that you're sitting in the same place you were. Notice you have sensations where you're sitting. You can sense your thighs, your knees, all the way down to your ankles and your feet. Notice that your back is straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are comfortable and relaxed, as is your face. Eyes are closed, mouth is closed. Coming back to your breath. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in, and in your own good time, opening your eyes. Take your time. Enjoy the silence before the bell. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to be with you on Sunday. Look after yourself. Know that the whole game is a game. And because it's a game, there are some areas that we can look at with some level of seriousness, but most of it is just the unfolding of this present moment in its myriad of forms. Duality has to exist in order for us to know what is dark, what is light, what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. Duality has to exist. Now is the time for us to take our place. Now is the time for us to speak our truth. Now is the time for us to reclaim our sovereignty. So, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, may you always be safe. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Thank you.